As we get settled in, we'll go ahead and play our 8 Principles video.
The Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola, the 8 Principles.
Number 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
Number 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relation.
Number 3, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation.
Number 4, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
Number 5, the right of conscience and the use of democratic process within our congregation and in society at large.
Number 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all.
Number 7, respect for the interdependent web of existence,
of which we are all a part.
Number 8, active commitment to dismantle racism and other oppression in ourselves and our institutions.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Great.
Great. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pensacola, UUCP. My name is Ian Briggs. My pronouns are he and him, and I'll be your service leader for today. Whether it's your first time here, your 20th time, 600th, or, I guess we could go up to 1,000. That's plenty long. We are so glad to have you here. Again, whether you're here in person or watching later online, we're thankful to have you all here take a little bit of time out of your busy week to come here and share in our community. If it is your first time here, just a quick little thing about us. Here at UUCP, we are a lay-led congregation, which basically means we don't have like a minister or reverend or some singular person doing this every week. Everything here is directed by the members here at UUCP. So in practice, that means we have different guest speakers every week, whether from the local community, from abroad, even people from our own church. So we have a lot of different perspectives each and every week. We have lectures, we have musical services, Q&As, interactive, just everything. So we always like to say that if you come here one week and you're like, not sure about that, just come back the next week and I'm sure you'll find something you like. And then you come back again and again and again. Absolutely. If you didn't get one when you came in and you would like one, we do have little pamphlets, which do I have one? I do. A little pamphlet like this, if you like one. They are up in the lobby by the credenza, which is just right by the entrance. You're welcome to take a copy with you, or you can always find information about us on our website at uupensacola.org. Which is a great resource, I might add, that we have a calendar with all different events and services to really give you a good idea of what we do here at UUCP. I think that's pretty much it. And before I forget, if you haven't already, please silence your phones, electronic devices, anything else that may go beep and boop during the service. It could be a little distracting, just a little bit. All right, next we'll have a few announcements. I have quite a few too. All right, the first one is Cluster Group Meet and Greet. Hey church family, we're excited to share that our cluster groups have been revamped to better serve and connect our community. These groups are assigned by zip code, which you can see in the sanctuary. You got different signs, like you got B over here, which says 3250, 123. So that means zip codes 32501, 32502, and so on. Anyway, these groups are based on the zip code and are designed to be a source of support during inclement weather, a way to gather locally, and most importantly, a reminder that you have friends nearby who care about you. So to kick things off, we're having a cluster group meet and greet, which we did last week, although I think we got maybe a little distracted with our photo we took. So after service, go get your snacks, and we encourage you to come back in here in the sanctuary, find your letter, find your zip code, and meet your neighbors if you haven't already. Let's see, anything else I need to add there? No. And speaking of snacks, actually today is also Sunday Sweets. So right there, you probably saw it when you came in. There is a table full of snacks. We just asked for a small little donation for a slice. Although if it is your first time and a guest, you get one for free. Or if you're like me, who has yet to redeem one, there you go. You go get a snack. So again, it'll be right after service on the table. Just go where everyone else is going. I think that's a good idea. All right, so there's that. Next, I have Lunch Bunch. This Tuesday, the 14th, at 1 p.m., they are going to Don Cha Peruvian, which is on, was that on East Street? East Pensacola Heights. All right, so again, that's 1 o'clock, Don Cha Peruvian, which I have heard about recently, and it sounds pretty good. If you have any questions, meet Hugh Ed Turner, who's raising his hand. All right. Next one, we have the Panhandle Trans Coalition. They'll be having their first annual Halloween dance / potluck here at UUCP. This will be on October 18th. That would be next Saturday, from 4 to 10 p.m. So dress up and bring a dish to pass. Should be fun. All right, next I have a flyer for the No Kings Pensacola rally. This will be on or at North 9th Avenue and at Airport Boulevard. So that would be kind of like right at the edge of the mall, I believe. From 11 to 1 p.m., again, October 18th, we're going to have some people there, sponsored by the 50501 Project. And if you have any questions, you can see Laura Keith King, who's raising her hand. All right. Next one, you've heard this one before. We're going to have a church lunch at Vallarta on Sunday, October 19th, so next Sunday. If you're wanting to go, we're just going to go after the service. We are not going to have snacks and coffee. In lieu of that, we are going to go meet there if you'd like to join us. We did last time. It had quite a turnout, like 30-something people. We had a very long table. We took up like half the restaurant. It was fun. If you like to go, do RSVP to Mary Beth Ramsey, who is unfortunately not here today, but you can do it on the day of, just before service is over. That way she knows just how many tables to reserve. But yeah, we'll be going there, and Vallarta's is just right around the corner on Pensacola Boulevard, right by the interstate, so you don't have to go very far either. Yeah, and it'll be a very special lunch, so we hope you can make it. All right, next one, please come and help out with our outdoor cleanup. This is on Saturday, October 25th from 9 to 1. We'll also have a little potluck, so make sure you bring stuff with you to share. But yeah, we're going to just do some cleanup around the grounds, do some trimmings and cutting and all sorts of stuff here. I recall doing it last year, and it was a good productive time, good fellowship just to get out and help out. If you have questions about that, see Laura Keith King to RSVP if you have any questions. Again, October 25th. All right, got two more. Next one, Earth Stars will be hosting their Trick or Treasure Hunt again this year on Sunday, October 26th from 1 to 3, so a little after church service. They are looking for volunteers with muscles and strong backs to help set up and clear up the space. We also need a few people, preferably in a costume of some sort, to staff the tables. So if you can help, please tell Farron Collins or Gayo. Got one of them right there. If you have any questions. Thank you. And finally, last one. This one you've also heard before. Join our long-term planning committee. We're forming a committee to help shape our church's 5-year plan for a roadmap for growth, connection, and community impact. This team will bring our congregation together to set meaningful goals and guide our future. If you're passionate about our church's mission and want to be part of that vision, we'd love to have you involved. So let's dream together, plan together, and grow together. And if you are interested, see Brett Ramsey, who is also not here today, but, just find one of us and we can relay that information. I think that's it. Quite a few announcements. I need some water after that. Okay. Next, we're going to have some centering music, which I believe the choir, if I'm not mistaken, is involved with this, right? Okay. So we're going to invite the choir up and just sit back and relax and enjoy the song, which I believe is called No One. Thank you. If y'all just want to hang out, since we'll just be a little bit before our opening hymn, just hang out. We'll go ahead and do our chalice lighting, and if I'll ask Wayne if he'd assist me with that, I'll read some words. These words are from Barnaby Fetter. We kindle a flame we trust will lead us forward as we travel in unknown lands, where the question, shall I ever get there, resounds, a clear, pure note in every silence. And our opening words today are from Kimberly Quinn Johnson. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. All righty. And if y'all are willing and able to join us for our opening hymn, today it'll be number 123, Spirit of Life, and that is in the Gray Book. Should be good. Oh, and after a song, if you remain standing for a covenant.
All the stirrings of our
All right, let's say our covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and love, and to help one another. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, now is the part of our service every week we have called Joys and Sorrows. So it's an opportunity for anyone who would like to come up and share with the community what's been going on, whether it's something happy, something sad, or something in between. You have that opportunity to do so. Let me reiterate that this part of our service is not broadcast, it's not recorded in any way, it is entirely within these walls for these hearts and ears to listen today. If you'd like to share something, you're welcome to line up on either side of the sanctuary. We'll hand the microphone to you, light a candle, and you tell us your name and briefly what it is you'd like to talk about. But first, we'll light one candle. Well, I'll get to it in a minute. One candle for all the big picture, all the main big events happening around the world. There's definitely no shortage of them. Just one little candle will hold quite a bit of weight. So I'll do that. Alrighty, so now is the part of our service for offertory. While we definitely ask for anyone to donate their time, talent, and treasure, now's the time for treasure. Being that we are a lay-led service, all of the funding that goes into our church is entirely from our members and those who donate. So I'm going to ask the ushers to come up and pass the basket around. Donate whatever you like if you're willing. There's also information on screen of how to do it through check, through text, and you can also donate online, which is what a lot of people here do too. So yeah, and I think we'll have some music while they do that. Thank you. Alrighty. So today's speaker is someone you should all probably be very familiar with. He's a regular here at UUCP. I'd say at least once a month he's up here, and in fact he was our speaker last week, and I believe 3 weeks ago as well. So he's very common. He's very popular. So he really doesn't need an introduction at this point. And I actually remember one service I helped him. He said exactly that. He said, "They know who I am." So without further ado, please help me welcome Zach Helton.
Thank you. I don't think I'm here for another 2 months after this, so if you need a break, don't worry, it's coming.
Don't let it turn you down. Be happy.
Thanks, man. I am not all that familiar with the world of book marketing. It's a new field for me, but for the past couple of years, I've been working on this novel about Jesus in a Buddhist monastery. And it's a retelling of the Jesus story through lenses of interfaith wisdom and kind of secular mysticism and justice work. And I knew I wanted to publish independently, so after writing, editing, and rewriting about 1,000 or so times, I could sense if I actually wanted anybody to read it, it was time to delve into the world of book marketing. So that's a huge growing edge for me. I get intimidated by the kind of the subjectivity of it, the unknowability of whether what we're doing will work before we sink a bunch of money into it. And that's why I was intrigued to find this method of marketing called click testing. So click testing is essentially this. You come up with several layers of ideas and taglines and images and headers and things like that. And as the name implies, you use Facebook and Instagram to test them. You just throw them out, give them a certain amount of time, and check to see who clicked on what and how often. And it gives you pretty valuable data when it comes to figuring out what people will respond to. So, why is any of this relevant? I'll tell you. My first round of click testing, there were several phrases that I threw out there. I tried a Jesus story for the rest of us. I tried, what if Jesus' story started in a Buddhist monastery? I tried a story that's really going to piss off your Sunday school teacher. That one did pretty well. There were a few angles I tried, and if you had asked me which ones I thought would perform best, I probably would have said the ones that invoked a sense of frustration or righteous indignation, because that's how social media seems to work. Alternatively, I thought maybe the runner-ups would be the ones that created a sense of mystery. I mean, what is Jesus doing in a Buddhist monastery, right? But the results surprised me. In the end, the ones that I thought would do well, they did okay. A story that's really going to piss off your Sunday school teacher did pretty well. I was happy about that one. But the one that really succeeded, with a click-through rate several percentage points higher than the next runner-up, was this one. A story for those grieving the faith that once defined them. And that got my attention. The top thing that hooked people about this idea wasn't indignation, and it wasn't mystique. It was grief. Now, that was surprising, given how the internet works, but also kind of affirming, because this was, after all, one of the main reasons that I wrote this book. I was grieving a tradition, a way of being spiritual, and I needed to reconcile with a new way of relating to the Jesus story. Grief was always near the heart, always near my heart as I was writing, and seeing these results, I realized that I wasn't alone. Grief, it seems, is near to the heart of many of those ex-evangelicals and spiritual but not religious folks, deconstructing and reconstructing what it means to be spiritual in this moment. And that's what I want to talk about this morning. I want to talk about what it means to grieve a spirituality. I mean, I had no guides, no framework or language as I started to navigate my own grief. And it was only when I started to develop that language that I was able to start making sense of the constant anger and sadness that I felt around issues of religion and fundamentalism for a long time. But once we can bring awareness to what it means to grieve, we can start to reconcile to it. And when we can start to reconcile to it, that's when the real magic can start to happen. That's when we can really start to do the work of healing the world without always navigating the minefield of our unconscious grief, just waiting for those sparks of anger or harm. Because just like hurt people, healed people heal people. So let's dive in and see what that looks like, to do our own work of healing and make sense of those click testing results. I think the first thing we need to know about grief is how often it's misunderstood. We often think of grief as what happens to us when we lose someone close to us, but that's a very limited definition. In reality, grief happens when the mind is forced to let go of an old story and live into a new one. We experience grief at varying levels all the time. Everything is impermanent, as the Buddha says, constantly changing. And that means that we're constantly losing things. We're always letting go. And the one who clings much suffers much. The one who learns to let go learns to live with equanimity. I've talked about this before, but neuroscientists will often talk about the mind as a prediction machine. A huge part of its job is recognizing patterns, coming up with a cohesive story, and then predicting a future that will help us live safely. It saves us energy and time and helps us to remember where the predators are and what feels good, and it gives us an imagination for what should come next. When those patterns are interrupted, though, when a foundational piece of what it used to tell that story is suddenly taken away, the machine breaks. Now, how badly it breaks is dependent on how foundational that thing was that we've lost to the mind's ability to tell its story. Our favorite show gets canceled. There's a little bit of grief. The story has to change, but it's not too bad. I guess it depends on the show. We lose a close family member, though, and that story is radically compromised. It hurts. And the bigger the hole in the story, the more energy the mind has to re-siphon from other systems and move over to learning a new story. It impacts our mood, our energy levels, our memory, our relationships, all sorts of things. That is grief. Now, that's easy to imagine when it comes to losing a loved one. But by this definition, it's not just loved ones that we grieve. It's anything that helps us tell a future story, the loss of a job, of a relationship, of an identity, of a faith. Religious grief is very valid, and it's something that many of us are familiar with, whether we've acknowledged it or not. I'm guessing by the fact that we're here that many of us have had some experience with a religion or a spirituality or faith that we've had to let go of, either because it no longer made sense or because we realized it was actively causing harm to us or others, or we were forced out of it because something we couldn't control. And I'm guessing it hurt. I wonder if you, like me, tried to bury that hurt under anger, or tried to sidestep it by replacing it with other stories, with other ways of being spiritual to try to kind of fast track a new story. I remember being as certain as a fundamentalist that if it wasn't Christianity, then Buddhism would definitely save us, or secular progressivism would save us, or humanism would save us. And I'm not saying that each of those are not powerfully helpful, but beneath my rigidity in clinging to them was always that grief. Grief that would rear up when I least expected it and undermine the healing that I thought I was embodying. Because I didn't understand that kind of thing counted as grief, but it does. Grief is what happens when the mind has to let go of an old story and learn to live into a new one. Here's the thing that can make religious grief so pernicious, though. When we've lost a religion, it's typically not the only thing we've lost. When we grieve a spirituality, it's not the only thing we're grieving. There's this great physical comedy trope that you see in movies where the main character unknowingly will tip over one thing or drop one thing or poke a hole in the dam, and then as they try to fix it, that thing will knock over something slightly bigger, and that will cause a bigger problem, and before you know it, the whole place is just abject chaos. That one little thing set into motion a domino effect that destroys everything. The scene I always think of is from The Mummy in 1997, where the librarian leans over a little too far, and her ladder bumps against a bookshelf, which hits another bookshelf and another bookshelf, and before she knows it, she's sitting in the midst of all of these destroyed artifacts, just kind of wondering what happened. Religious grief is like that. We don't realize just how interconnected things are, how widespread the collapse will be until that one thread is pulled and things start unraveling. I mean, first, when we lose a religion, we're losing a worldview. We're losing a sense of how the world was supposed to work and a value system that impacted how we saw the world and made choices about how to live in it. We grieve a sense of meaning and direction. And before you write that off, if you've never been plunged into the world of nihilism against your will, it is no joke. Second, when we suffer a religious loss, we suffer the loss of community. The people who were once our people, who were familiar and present and part of who we were. And even if this community was abusive in some way, leading us to repress parts of ourselves, even if walking away felt liberating, we can still grieve them. Grief is illogical that way. The story is interrupted, and it hurts. And that list could go on. We lose the rituals that gave our life rhythm. We lose the scriptures and sacred stories that we once understood as a touchstone of authority. We lose a sense of the future and how we thought things would unfold, a sense of self, even if it wasn't a great one. Those of us who were employed by a religious institution lose financial stability or vocational identity. That list goes on. When it comes to religion, the tendrils of implication and connection spread far and wide, and having to do the grief work of reconstructing that many new stories, that takes a lot of energy. That hurts. And what I get from this is twofold. First, to have grace for yourself. we aren't given that much of a framework to understand just how widespread the impact of religious grief can be. And so there are plenty of pockets of grief that we don't know to look for, minds that we don't even know are there until we've stepped on them. And second, to have grace for others who, even though they may sense problems, have a hard time letting go. I have all kinds of feelings about those who cling too tightly to their religion, even though they know it's causing harm. But I also understand that to let that go is a scary thing, and it would cost them a lot. Stakes are often higher than we like to admit. When we grieve a spirituality, it's not the only thing that we're grieving. So this leads us to this question. When we come into awareness of how much grief we're dealing with and how far the implications are, what is it exactly we can do with it? And the wisest voices on grief will often tell us this, that the work of healing is the work of reconciling to that grief, giving it time to allow a new story to be born. One of my favorite horror movies is called The Babadook. It's Halloween, so I'll bring this into it. It came out in 2014. It was a pretty low-budget production, and it centers on this mother and son who recently lost their husband and father. And they're both in deep grief in their different ways. The mother struggling against it and trying not to think too much about it. And the son brings home this unnerving pop-up book in the midst of all of it called The Babadook. Now, if you're in a horror movie, you should probably just close the book and leave it out, but they read the book. If it's in a word or it's in a look, the mother reads one night, you can't get rid of the Babadook. And the book goes on to weave this legend of a menacing figure who beats at your door, demanding to be let in, slipping through and growing beneath your skin and changing you until you've become something else. And as they read, the boy starts crying, which of course he does. And they close the book. And over the course of the movie, you learn that the Babadook is real and is always knocking at their door. And the mother begins to grow afraid and angry, lashing out and isolating them until it feels like she's losing her mind. And then in the final act, spoiler alert, she does the unthinkable. She opens the door. She lets the entity in. She realizes she can't beat it, and so she gives it a room in her house. And she essentially says, okay, you're clearly not leaving, so you can stay here, and once a week, we'll come in and see you. We'll give you a little bit of attention just for a bit, and slowly, we will learn to live together. And it works. And they start building a new life. It is a haunting and beautiful and terrifying reflection on how grief works. It's always there. If it's in a word or it's in a look, you can't get rid of the Babadook. It will change you. And if you don't learn how to relate to it, it will slip in and take you over. The only thing you can do in the end is give it a room. Visit it. Learn to live with it as it slowly becomes less scary and less painful, and give yourself time to imagine a new story. Alan Wolfelt, a brilliant voice in the world of grief studies, writes, a number of models describe the end goals of grief with terms like resolution, or recovery, or reestablishment, or reorganization. You may have heard, actually you may believe, that your grief's journey will end when you resolve or recover from your grief. But I propose that as human beings, we never totally resolve our grief experiences. Instead, we integrate them into our lives and are forever changed by them. While it's natural to prefer that your grief be wrapped up in some neat, clean package and completely resolved, my experience has taught me otherwise. Actually, to integrate grief into your new life means, in part, accepting that there may be some feelings that remain unresolved and ambiguous. This is no less true, I believe, for grieving spirituality. We have to integrate it, to let it in, to feel it, even if in small doses. And over time, our lives start to change, and we can live with more freedom and honesty and openness. If we can't, however, or we choose not to, we keep that door closed. Then we take this turn into a more unpleasant section of grief studies called complicated grief. And this is what happens when we get stuck. We get too overwhelmed, or we don't pull on our resources, or we just keep turning away, and things get harder. The pop-up book in the Babadook, it reads, "I'll wager with you. I'll make you a bet. The more you deny me, the stronger I'll get. You start to change when I get in. I am there growing right under your skin." And when we're caught in complicated grief, it's like trying to hold our well-being in a colander. There are just so many psychic holes it keeps spilling through. And we can tell that we're in this state if we find ourselves avoiding certain things or getting angry or touchy when they come up. We find ourselves clinging to some alternative with white knuckles, getting defensive when someone dares question it, and refusing to look back. These can be signs that there is grief that we haven't faced, that we haven't learned to live with, and therefore heal from. And they can undermine our best efforts at actually embodying a practice that brings healing and liberation into the world, not to mention our own well-being. Presumably, we left unhealthy religion so that we could move towards both, and it is a tragedy to let unreconciled grief hold us back from it. The work of healing is the work of reconciling to grief, of allowing a new story to be born. So, the point is this: if we can better understand our grief around spirituality and religion and worldview, how we thought the world was, then we can do our work to reconcile with it. We can learn to live in a new story. We can start to take agency and to have grace for the far-reaching implications of what we've lost. It's a myth, I think, that any worldview or religion or philosophy is meant to last forever, even if our culture tells us they are. Ram Dass, a teacher, teaches that all methods are traps and that we're always meant to be moving beyond them, towards the truth that they're pointing us to. How easily, though, we can get stuck in one and make it our whole identity. Rafts are meant to help us cross the river, but once they've served their purpose, it makes no sense to put them on our backs and carry them through the jungle. But letting go can be hard. To lose a faith system is not a failure. There's no shame in it, and it's not wrong. It's just part of the process of waking up. And that process will involve no small amount of grief. So may we have grace for ourselves on that journey. May we support one another however we can. And may we all find the stories that we need to grieve any kind of faith that wants to find us. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. All right, I'm going to invite the choir up again. And once again, if you're willing and able to join us for our closing hymn, this one is number 1021, Lean on Me, in the Teal Book.
You guys know this song, right?
Alrighty, we'll end this with our closing words. A little long, hope you can read them. These words are from Michael A. Schuler. We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. We have enjoyed magic moments and edified each other. Shall it be concluded then? Or will this adventure now commenced continue? Our separate paths converging, meeting, merging, in the unending quest for love more perfect, the joyous struggle for meaning more sufficient and life more abundant. Is this ending to be an ending, or merely prelude to new, more glorious beginnings? I pose the question, in your hearts lies the answer. Go in peace. Oh, and friendly reminder, after you get your snacks, to come back to the cluster groups, meet your neighbors. I was told to remind people. Thank you. Sure. Thank you, man. Yes. Appreciate it.
We were brought from today.